The denizens of the mythological world are mighty and impressive beings at their own right, but the weapons they possess are equally awe-inspiring and sometimes powerful enough to level a field. Only a select few are deemed worthy to wield these extraordinary relics, as death and destruction will surely follow should these fall into the wrong hands. Here are the top 10 most powerful and magical weapons in mythology. Amazing! Number 10. Honjo Masamune. Crafted by the master swordsmith Goro Nyudo Masamune, the Honjo Masamune is believed to be Masamune's finest work. It is so perfectly crafted, it is said that each of its layers are as thick as an atom. The Honjo Masamune earned its place in Japanese legend after a swordsman named Umanosuke attacked General Honjo Shigenaga. The sword was able to split the general's helmet in half, a feat that no Japanese sword has ever achieved. In the end, the general was victorious, claiming the sword for himself. It was then passed from one hand to another until it ended up in the hands of an American soldier named Sergeant Colby Bemore. The legendary sword has never been seen or heard of ever since, but the search still continues up to this day. The Honjo Masamune also has a place in modern fiction, often wielded by protagonists to do battle with their rivals. They also demonstrate extraordinary abilities, such as making the wielder invisible by splitting slight due to its perfectly balanced and aligned blade. But no matter how exaggerated they may portray the Honjo Masamune in fiction, it still retains one characteristic that is present in all of Masamune's swords: never to cut down the innocent and undeserving. Number 9. Freygarak. Considered to be the deadliest sword in Irish mythology, the Freygarak is a magical sword forged by the gods and bestowed upon Magann MacLír and later by his foster son Lugh. The Freygarak is also known by its other names: the Retaliator, as it can slice through armor and inflict wounds that cannot be cured by any medicine, and the Answerer, as it can force truth from anyone once they have been wounded by it. While it was originally owned by Manannán, it was used mostly by Lugh after obtaining it from Tír na Embio, or the Land of the Living. The most prominent use of the sword was at the Irish saga Cathmaige Tuired, where Lugh used the Freygarak, along with his other magical items, to do battle with the Fomorianzi. The Freygarak was later given to his son Cuchulainn, who had his fair share of adventures with it, and later to Conn of the 100 Battles. Number 8. Excalibur. One of the most iconic pieces in the Arthurian romances, the Excalibur is a mystical sword owned by the legendary King Arthur. Deemed as a holy sword, it is said to have blinded its foes with the light of 30 torches, allowing King Arthur to cut through ranks of enemy soldiers with ease. The gem scabbard of Excalibur is considered even more powerful, as it prevents the holder from getting harmed during battle, allowing King Arthur to survive even the most fatal wounds. There are two different renditions on how King Arthur obtained the sword. In Robert de Boron's Merlin, he obtained Excalibur by pulling the sword out of the stone, but in the post-Vulgate cycle, he obtained Excalibur after the Lady of the Lake gave it to him after he broke his first sword, the Caliburn, which is the name given to the sword he pulled out from the stone in this rendition. The final fate of the sword remains the same between the two versions. The Lady of the Lake is said to have retrieved the sword after it was thrown into the lake upon the request of a dying Arthur, never to be seen or held again by mortal hands. Number 7. Thunderbolt. The well-known symbol of the Greek god Zeus, the Thunderbolt is Zeus's favored weapon. It was given to him after he rescued the Cyclops during the war between the Titans and the Olympians. As the name implies, the Thunderbolt allows Zeus to throw down lightning bolts as if they were projectiles, smiting anyone who dare defy his bidding. Zeus used the Thunderbolt primarily to safeguard the people of Mount Olympus. An example of such event would be the battle between him and Typhon, wherein he threw 100 lightning bolts to destroy his opponent, saving the gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus. Zeus was also known to use the weapon whenever someone angered him, which was very often. Asclepius was killed by one due to his knowledge in medicine, as Zeus determined that he threatened the balance between gods and men. Salmoneus was killed by one as well after he pretended to be Zeus. Regardless, Zeus was known to be a fair and just god. Woe be to those who dare incur Zeus's wrath. Number 6. The Trident of Poseidon. The trident was bestowed upon Poseidon alongside Zeus's Thunderbolt. While the weapon is remarkable by itself, its capabilities are far more overwhelming as it allows Poseidon to control the seas, calming the waters, or creating destructive tidal waves in a blink of an eye. It is said to also summon mythical beasts of the deep, as learned by King Laomedon in the city of Troy after refusing to honor his part of the deal with Poseidon. Besides its dominion over seas, the trident can also be used on land. When struck on the ground, it can cause earthquakes and drought. While it may seem that the trident is more powerful compared to Zeus's Thunderbolt, Its full extent of power can only be used when it is on the water. Nevertheless, it is still not wise to anger Poseidon, lest you face the same anger that befell his victims. Number 5. Gunyer. The favored weapon of Odin, Gunyer is a magical weapon crafted by the dwarves of Norse mythology. As expected of a weapon presented upon gods, the Gunyer was a spear like no other. Its aim is true, as it's capable of piercing its target no matter how far away they may be. Runes are inscribed within its tip, which boost its mystical capabilities, allowing Odin to strike before the enemies have the chance to retaliate. Odin used the Gunyer in several battles. One notable example is the war between the Aesir and Vanir gods, in which he threw the Gunyer towards the enemy host, effectively cutting down a portion of the enemy's army. The Gunyer, along with Odin, was last mentioned during Ragnarok, the final battle that ended the life of the Norse gods. Number 4. Green Dragon Crescent Blade. Formidable and powerful, this best describes the Green Dragon Crescent Blade. Held by Liu Bei's general Gunyer, this weapon is incredibly heavy, weighing at 48.38 kilograms. Heavy as it may be, Gunyer was able to use the weapon effectively with just one hand, a feat that no mere human can accomplish. Legends say that this weapon was crafted on a full moon with the blood of a green dragon, which explains the origin of the name. It is also said that it is able to repel evil creatures, as it was deemed to be a holy weapon bestowed by the gods themselves, regardless of it having supernatural capabilities or not. The Green Dragon Crescent Blade proved to be a boon to both Gunyer and Liu Bei, as it helped the warlord realize his dreams of becoming an emperor. The Green Dragon Crescent Blade was later given to Pan Zhang after he captured him, only for it to be retrieved later by Guanyu's son, Guanxing. Number 3. Monier. Held by the Norse god of thunder Thor, the Monier is one of the most powerful artifacts in Norse mythology and can only be wielded by those who are deemed worthy. It may be small in stature, but the Monier possesses extraordinary amounts of power and weight, able to level mountains with ease. Thor could also call down bolts of lightning with the Monier at hand, destroying those who opposed the might of the gods. The Monier was crafted after Loki made a bet with Brokkr that he couldn't produce better artifacts than that of the sons of Ivaldi. Brokkr was able to win the bet by producing 3 great artifacts, including the Monier. Although the Monier has a bit of a flaw in the fact that the handle is shorter than planned thanks to Loki's meddling, the final product was better than expected, exhibiting traits that far surpass the other artifacts and weapons created by the dwarves. The Monier is feared by many, including the gods themselves, as such a weapon can decimate the gods should it fall into the wrong hands. Number 2. Sheror. Wielded by the Mesopotamian god of war Ninurta, the Sheror is a sentient mace of great power. Created by Enlil, the father of Ninurta, it is used to enact divine punishment to the wicked. As a sentient weapon, it can communicate with Ninurta or act as a mediator between Enlil and Ninurta. Sheror's power is tremendous, as it is able to flatten mountains and raise forests with just a single swing. It can also fly, which enables Ninurta to travel between lands with ease. Sheror was highlighted prominently in the poem Lugale, where Ninurta did battle with the demon Asag, who plagued the earth with its very essence. The battle was fierce, as the demon had an army of rock demons at his command. The Sheror proved to be useful in this battle, as it allowed Ninurta to seek help from his father, giving him the necessary knowledge to vanquish the demon and save the lands. Sheror is also known as Vajra in Hindu mythology, having the exact same characteristics and properties as the Sheror. Number 1. Brahmastra. The Brahmastra is a supernatural weapon created by Lord Brahma, the Hindu god of creation. Taking the form of a bow and arrow, this weapon is considered a destructive weapon, capable of destroying everything in its path and its surroundings. Due to its immense power, this weapon can only be used after meeting specific conditions. 1. It can only be used to uphold the teachings of Satya Dharma. 2. The person invoking the weapon should have strong mental fortitude. And 3. It can only be used once in a lifetime. According to the 4 Vedas, the weapon was used a total of 8 times, the most prominent being Lord Rama, firing it at modern-day Rajasthan, creating the Thar Desert as a result. The Brahmastra has 2 more powerful evolutions, the Brahmashira, which is 4 times more powerful than the Brahmastra, and the Pashupatastra, which can destroy the entire universe. So which mythology do you think has the most impressive weapons? Which weapon would you like to have at your disposal? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching!